And an early touch for the goalkeeper, Miles Boney. And then it is cleared long down the left-hand side for Mungoy to try and get an early touch and cause a few problems down the left. Adams with the throw for South Shields, and it's flicked on by Martin. But Banbury went out in a tussle of legs there, and it goes out of play for another throw-in, which will be taken by the skipper. Adams just wipes the ball on his jersey. I think it's a case of sweaty hands rather than anything else. Certainly no chance of rain this afternoon. Adams again just plays it forward to Mungoy, and then it's played back up the touchline, drifts out of play though. It's going to be a throw-in to Banbury. A chance now for them to at least get an early feel of the ball. And it's going to be a throw-in taken from the right back position, launched long towards the halfway line. Bit of head tennis involving Clark before Briggs gets his foot on it and plays it forward towards Martin, but it's dealt with by Fleming and hooked clear. South Shields though still have it, enjoying some good early possession, and now it's played down the right hand side but intercepted, and Banbury are able to bring it away down their left, and it's swung across, right the way across to the right hand side. Obadiah is waiting for it, he can't get there, and it's hooked forward now to Mungoy. Bit of space for him down the left hand side for South Shields. Chooses to cut inside, just make sure that he retains possession. Briggs just caught in possession though, and Banbury are able to break away down their left hand side. It should be easy enough for Lafudu to deal with. It is, and South Shields have it back, and now Adams has it. Adams with his right foot plays it to Mungoy on halfway. He does well just to control it and then play it back to Adams. Adams is challenged and the ball comes off the former Sunderland, Coventry and Notts County man, and it's out for a throw-in on this right hand side to Banbury. Tompkins will take the throw, the right back, and he gets it back again, but Banbury give it away, and Martin does really well to charge down the attempted clearance. I think the ball's drifted out of play. No, he's still going, Martin. Still in play. I think Paul thought it had gone out of play, but he was still going. Ball down into the penalty area, but just overran it in the end. And Jack Harding, the Banbury keeper, was able to come out and meet it comfortably and avert any danger.
A good chance, really, was it? We thought it was going up for a throw-in. Looked at the lines when he kept his flag down, and could have maybe done a bit better, I think, really.
Yeah, he did really well to charge down the,
he did, yep,
the clearance initially, Aaron Martin. Former Gateshead player, started life at Sheffield United's academy, Aaron Martin. Scored 3 goals already this season and has looked a handful in many of South Shields' games. But now a bit of defending for Shields to do, and Banbury are coming down the left-hand side. Cross comes in, but easy enough for the goalkeeper Boney. It was Craig Hewitt who made good progress down the left, but not a problem for Miles Boney. I know you haven't seen much of Shields this season either, so I don't know. I mean, obviously they might approach things a little bit differently under Julio Arca, but I imagine, and from what Julio was saying to me yesterday, they want to get the ball down and play it on the deck as much as possible, but they're not frightened to go long when they need to, as they've just done now. Flick on comes in from Mungoy, but it goes all the way through to the keeper.
Well, I think that's because he's playing 3 up front, 2 wide and 1 through the middle, where usually people just play 1 up front and pack the midfield, but Julio wants him to get the ball down, wants to give them a bit of time in the middle of the park to play the football and to hit the wide man.
So the Banbury goalkeeper Harding kicks it long. Banbury pick it up just inside the South Shields half. Revan plays it forward. It's cleared by South Shields though. Blair Adams it is, who again gets his left foot to it and plays it up the touchline. Just goes out of play though, as Burnley in the Premier League take the lead against Tottenham Hotspur. So Tompkins is going to take this throw in deep in South Shields territory for Banbury United. Still goalless after 6 minutes of the match. And South Shields do just enough to avert the danger for the time being. But Tompkins has it back again and then looks to try and work a bit of space on his left foot, back onto his right again. To the byline he goes, but just overruns it under pressure from CJ Clark, and that's gone out for a goal kick in the end.
Decent start for Banbury though, they're not overawed at all. I mean, you know they've travelled a long way and they've travelled up in cars, but they've really set their stall out early on against Shields.
They have. Yeah, I mean, for teams like Banbury, it's a big occasion to come here. You know, they don't want to play in front of that many crowds of this size at this level through the course of the season. And it's, you know, it's an arena in which they will certainly want to impress. I think Gloucester came up here on the day. I think they had to leave at 5 in the morning.
They did.
They did. And I think they were flagging after about half an hour of that match, after a relatively strong start. I think Banbury will be a little bit different because they've come here properly rested, better prepared. Yeah,
yes.
Having spent the night in a hotel, and they are looking to come forward again. South Shields managed to clear it. Blackett fights for it on halfway, loses out though, and Banbury have it once more. Again, looking to play it down the right. Mongoy is quick though to charge down the clearance from Revan. So it's a throw into Banbury, and it's played along by the centre half Ty Fleming. It's a good ball as well, right out to the left hand side, and then it's played into Dath in centre field, and then all the way back to Fleming again at the back. And so Banbury just enjoying a little bit of possession here, not in any particularly dangerous areas of the pitch. Then it goes long, right over the top. It's going to go all the way through though to Boney.
Simon, I think Banbury have got good movement in midfield. They're keeping a hold of the ball, and then they're not frightened to dink it long.
Yeah.
It's they look half a decent side. The first
they do. They seem to be playing with 3 at the back, and the fullbacks pushing well up as well. So they're coming with a bit of ambition too, as Mongoy just challenges the goalkeeper, but it's easy enough for Harding. Yeah, it's not like they've come back to. They've come here to sit back and absorb pressure by the looks of things. They're going to commit players forward when they can.
They want to attack. You're right.
They come into this match off the back of a heavy defeat at home to Buxton. They drew their match before that to Rushall Olympic away, and having beaten Chester the game before that. It's been a mixed season for them so far. They have it through Ty Fleming at the back, and all the way back to his goalkeeper, Harding. And the ball spins out of play for a throw-in to Banbury. Brentford have taken the lead against Bournemouth in the Premier League. We'll keep you updated with events elsewhere as Tompkins gets the ball back from the throw-in and then plays it forward.
Good possession and good play.
Yeah, Obadiah, he was happy to keep possession, but he showed a good touch, and all right, he went back to halfway again, but Banbury doing well and keeping possession well in these early stages. South Shields now have it back though. CJ Clark hooks it forward, and it's a good ball as well. Can Shields break down this right hand side into the penalty area? Good turn of speed that was as well from Blackett. The shot was driven in and it was saved by the legs of Jack Harding.
Good player, that really good player. That's what we want to see more of from South Shields. Blackett looked really sharp there.
He did, didn't he? Showed really good acceleration to beat his man, and there's a cross coming in from the right again. Header comes in as well, and what a good header it was. The cross came in from the right hand side. Geordie Mungoy had come into the 6-yard box. He'd cut in from the left. He was unmarked, and he just nodded it in at the near post. And having had to weather a little bit of pressure in the early stages of this game, it's the best possible start for South Shields, and after 10 minutes they lead by 1-0.
Oh, what a wonderful header it was, right in the roof of the net. He just met it full on. What a start for South Shields. You're right, we were seeing how Banbury could hold the ball and keep it, but they're getting round the back there. Wonderful cross into the box, a bullet header into the roof of the net. Great start for Shields.
It was a great ball in, and Mungoy just did what he had to do and gave the keeper absolutely no chance. So that will probably settle them down a little bit. As we'd commented, the visitors had more than held their own in the first 10 minutes of the match, but they have nothing to show for it. They trail by a goal to nil. So South Shields not as quick off the mark today as Sunderland were, who they went ahead in the first minute against Southampton. But let's see if they can rack up as many. Early days yet. The first thing to do is to consolidate this lead.
You're right. I mean, we're seeing a bit of what they could do when Blackett burst in there, and then 30 seconds later the cross into the box. Brilliant finish it was. Terrific header.
Yeah, it gave the keeper no chance whatsoever. And Liddell clears the ball for South Shields. Clark, and down the right hand side it goes to Mongoy, who's switched to that other flank now, just to try and cause a few problems over there. Back it goes to John Lafudu, the fullback, coming up to help his attack as he's wont to do. Shows good feet as well, and then it's played back in the end to CJ Clark, and South Shields will start again. Robert Briggs, deep lying midfielder, plays it out to the right hand side again. Hassan is there, and it's played forward to the fullback Lafudu. Lafudu into the box and plays it inside. Oh, and Mongoy completely missed his kick. It was a decent chance from near the penalty spot. With his right foot he took a swing at it, but completely fluffed it, Vicar.
Well, that was wonderful football. Really good player, and the ball's come to him. It's in his left foot before his right foot, and he could have really scored, couldn't he?
Should perhaps have had two, South Shields.
Yeah, good football though, down the right.
Yeah,
Hassini and Lafudu linked up brilliant there down the right.
Yes, they're causing Banbury a few problems down that side. Just a delay in play as we wait for a throw-in to be taken. Robert Briggs makes himself available for it, and then just looks to find Mongoy with a ball through the middle, but it was intercepted, and Banbury have some respite. Obadiah, though, is dispossessed, and the goals, and Blackett can go down the right hand side and gets it again. Oh, what a shot, and what a goal from Paul Blackett. The original chance looked like it had gone. The ball ricocheted from a Banbury defender straight on to the right foot of Paul Blackett, and the former Gateshead and Spennymoor man smashed it first time like a rocket. It went into the top corner, and after 13 minutes it's South Shields 2, Banbury United 0.
What a finish, absolutely incredible. He hit that full on, and it's just flew into the roof of the net. Goalkeeper, absolutely no chance. I've seen Blackett score them like that before. I spoke to you about him before we went on air to see what an exciting player, and it's time he started becoming the player that we thought he was going to be. That was brilliant. Great work by Robert Briggs as well.
But Paul Blackett with his third goal of the season. Started out life in the Newcastle United Academy. He's played for Gateshead and for Spennymoor, and he's doing pretty well here at South Shields, and the crowd very much enjoyed that. I mean, he looks a handful as well, you know.
He's like lightning. He's absolutely. He's just the right height, and he's got speed, and he can finish like that.
Yeah, he doesn't look as though he's going to be that quick, but his acceleration is incredible. And here comes South Shields again, looking to build on this 2-goal lead. And Banbury looking a little bit rattled now, just trying to keep a little bit of possession through Hewitt down the left-hand side. Hewitt does quite well to beat his man, but he overruns it and goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, Miles Boney. But yeah, Blackett, he's causing them all sorts.
Well, the front three have been really good early. I mean, Banbury started off very well, right, and more confident, but then, Shields have just switched the light on, and the front three have come alive, haven't they?
2-0 to South Shields. Hartlepool lead Wealdstone by a goal to nil as the through ball there is intercepted by a Banbury player, but South Shields win it back again almost immediately. They are well and truly on top right at this moment. Clark goes down under the challenge. He claims he was fouled, but the referee is having none of it, and he says that should be a throw in to Banbury. But Gary Liddell does very well to tidy things up for South Shields, and they're able to launch another attack from deep inside their own half. You're listening to BBC Radio Newcastle. We've had Sunderland beating Southampton by 5-0 already. Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson are standing by at the Amex for our late game in the Premier League. Brighton and Hove Albion against Newcastle United. What price? 3 wins out of 3 for our sides. Well, Sunderland have done their bit. South Shields are doing their bit so far as well. They lead here by 2-0, and there's only 16 minutes on the clock, and South Shields have a throw-in down the left-hand side, and it's Blair Adams who will take it, just looking for a little bit of movement ahead of him, and finds it in the shape of Martin, and then he hooks it out to the right-hand side. Lafudu again had made good ground, plays it back to Hassani, and now back to Briggs, who was involved in that second goal. Blackett, the goal scorer, plays it out to Lafudu again. Good football from South Shields, comes on the defender, goes out for a corner.
Just seeing Blackett get the ball, he goes from 0 to 100 as quick as that, doesn't he?
Yes.
He just gets it, twists and turns, and he's in the box.
Incredible acceleration he has, yes. And a shot on him too, so we've seen 2 of his attributes already in this game, as Hull City take the lead in the Championship at Leicester, and Spurs have equalised in the Premier League at Burnley as well. South Shields have a corner to be taken from the right hand side by Hassani, an outswinger, heads go up and it's headed clear, only as far as Broadbent, and the ball's in the back of the net, but the whistle's gone. The assistant's flag is up.
That's how sharp Blackett is. The ball's gone to him. He's had one touch and just passed it into the net. The flag's gone up, but it was a terrific finish. They've just picked things up, South Shields, and really taken the game to them now, haven't they?
Yeah, they are well and truly on top.
Wow.
Against Banbury United. Chance to consolidate themselves a little bit at the top of the division. Julio Arca did say that he doesn't really think much about league tables till after 10 games or so, as Banbury just try to get a little bit of respite and have the ball in the South Shields half, and they do win themselves a corner from this right hand side. So they're just having a little bit of a breather, I think. Ken Charles it was who forced that corner. He's scored 3 goals for them this season. He's probably their biggest threat, and they've got plenty of white-shirted players forward for this corner, but they play it short to Banbury, and now into the penalty area. Well worked move as well, chance for a shot as well, deflected just over the top of the crossbar for another corner as well. Yeah, good player, well worked corner. It was Craig Hewitt who got into a decent position inside the penalty area, but couldn't get a clean shot away. It was deflected, and it's out for another corner.
It was a good corner that, Simon, really good. They could have, he's checked when he's getting the ball in the box. If he had hit it first time, might have went in, I don't know, but we've done well to defend it, South Shields.
That's as close as Banbury have come. Dath will take the corner from the right hand side, just raises his left hand, and it'll be an outswinger. It won't go short this time, but it's a poor corner, and it's cleared at the near post, but Dath picks it up once more, and from an angle tries to cross it again. CJ Clark had read that, though, closed him down quickly and blocked it. It's out for a throw-in, which will be taken by Tompkins. Still plenty of white shirts forward. South Shields in their usual claret shirts with blue sleeves, and South Shields win themselves a goal kick.
Simon, you've just said there in the claret and blue strip, as about 90% of the fans here have got claret and blue tops on as well, haven't they?
They certainly have. There's a few with the away kit on as well.
They love wearing that strip when they come here, they do, And why not? It's that team, isn't it?
Well, they're enjoying life, aren't they, South Shields supporters? They have done over the last few years. It's been an impressive rise. And really coinciding with
still plenty of ambition left in them, isn't there?
Well, yes, indeed. Yeah. Jeff Thompson, the chairman here, has big ambitions. As the goal kick is taken, and Aaron Martin, big unit up front for South Shields, wins the header. It's played back by Little all the way back to the goalkeeper. And Boney plays it with his right foot, plays it forward. Looking for Martin. Headed clear. Little has it. Just outside the centre circle on the right-hand side. And then Hassani. And then played forward looking for Blackett, who scored that thumping second goal, but it's cleared once more. Briggs, but he gives it away. Just a little bit sloppy from South Shields on this occasion, and Banbury can play it forward. Long ball, looking for Obadiah, but he can't get his foot on it. So Clark has it for South Shields. Hassani has come in field, but then him and Clark make a little bit of a mess of it between them. Good play from Clark, though, tracking back. Half wins the ball back. Tompkins, though, has it for Banbury. And then it's played forward to Charles. Charles with his right foot has a shot from 20 yards, never got hold of it, and it goes into the arms of Miles Boney, but a little bit better from Banbury.
Good fit, yeah. He's beat one, beat two. Just, didn't get as much power on it, but good to see Boney getting 2 hands on that.
And he bowls it out to Liddell, and South Shields trying to build up the right-hand side. Peeling off down the right is Aaron Martin, but back it goes all the way through to Jack Harding. More than 300 appearances for Banbury, came through their youth ranks, left the club for a while, but back in his second spell now, and he is very much the longest serving player of this team. Simeon May, the second longest serving player, only joined in March of this year. They had a big clear out in the summer, did Banbury, as they try to make a little bit of headway down the left-hand side. It's Lewis Hall looking to try and cross with his left foot, but he's well marshalled. Out of play it goes for a throw into South Shields. You'd think that as we approach the midway point of this first half, Julio Arco will be pretty happy with things.
I'd be delighted. Absolutely, just in front of us here. I think he'd be well pleased with that start.
Standing with his arms folded, watching the action just in front of the dugout. And Mongoy looks to get on the end of a cross-field ball over the top. South Shields looking to get in behind when they can, but on this occasion it was cleared by Banbury. Charles has it, but that's a foul just at the edge of the centre circle. Clark went down, and the referee, Mr. Griffiths, deemed it to be a foul, and so South Shields have a free kick inside their own half. Rotherham are leading Norwich City by a 1-0 in the Championship. Colin White will have all the latest scores at half-time in this game. Bit of reaction to Sunderland's 5-0 win over Southampton as well. And they look ahead to Brighton, Newcastle later as well. A triple bill on BBC Radio Newcastle this afternoon. Here we are at South Shields against Banbury, and South Shields coming forward through Hassani down the right hand side. First time ball to Mongoy on the left edge of the penalty area onto his right foot, and then beats his man, goes down too easily, and that's going to go out for a goal kick. Saw what he was trying to do but didn't get it right.
He didn't do it quick enough, did he? It was slow motion trying to go around the fullback. Had to do it really sharp, but again South Shields have opened them up at the back, haven't they?
The 24-year-old joined back in December 2022 after a loan spell coming from Wealdstone, but he impressed with Mongoy and was signed on a permanent basis. Didn't quite work out for him there, but he scored the first goal of the game this afternoon with a header, which was his first of the season. Banbury have it at the back, Paul.
If he keeps putting them in like that, it'll not be his last, I tell you.
No.
Because he's looked well, he's looked sharp there the first 20 minutes we've played.
Tompkins for Banbury plays it forward down the right-hand side. Obadiah, and then back to Tompkins again. It was a good ball in as well, but headed clear. And Hassani should be able to complete the job for Shields. Just gets caught on it by Lewis Hall, but it's gone out for a throw-in. Did just enough there. Hassani to avert the danger, but Banbury still have it, looking to find a way back into this game. And again, coming quite deep to receive the ball is Ken Charles. Tries to have a shot, but this one's blocked, and it's all the way back now to Miles Boney, who just takes his time, waits till Charles bears down on him, and then picks it up only when he has to, just to give South Shields players a little bit of a respite. 25 gone. South Shields 2, Banbury United 0. BBC Radio Newcastle, Simon Pride and Paul Dixon with you for this match. Before, as the shot comes in from nothing really from Paul Blackett, clearly a man with confidence, The ball broke to him around about 25 yards out. I think he spotted the keeper a little bit off his line, went for one of those kind of dipping, looping volleys, didn't quite catch it right, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
He was very excited taking that, wasn't he? But, you know, he's, like you say, he's full of confidence, scored a wonderful goal. He's trying his luck there. Would have been some goal if it had went in, but he's really enjoying his play out there this afternoon as Paul Blackett.
Yeah. Playing like a player who's in confident mood. Here's
Correct.
Hewitt, though, for the visitors, who come forward again. They're certainly not giving this up as a lost cause by any stretch of the imagination. And Darth plays it out wide. It goes to Hall on the left-hand side, and then back inside for Abadai, whose movement has been good in this first half. Simeon May, as Banbury try to keep a little bit of possession. They lose out, and that's a good ball forward straight away as well. South Shields always looking to play it forward early if they can, and again it was Mongoy making the run forward, but just nipped off his toes.
Keeper done well.
Yeah.
Keeper done really well there.
Yeah, he was on his toes, the keeper, wasn't he? As Banbury trying to make progress down the left-hand side. Craig Hewitt stretching, can't keep it in play. Yeah, they play quite a high line. The keeper's having to be sharp, isn't he? And,
yes,
come and tidy up if he needs to. That's the way that they play, because South Shields have spotted that, and they're trying to get their quick players in behind when they can.
And they're quick up front, Shields, they are.
Julio Arca, assisted by another former Sunderland player, Tommy Miller, giving instructions from the touchline. And again, Blackett, it looked like there was nothing on, but Blackett was so sharp. He's gone down injured now as he went in for the challenge. Yeah, I think he's holding his ankle, his left ankle, but I think he's going to be okay. But he's so quick, it looks as though there's nothing on. It looks as though Banbury are going to be able to clear it, but he bears down on defenders so quickly, gets a foot in there. On this occasion, he was just caught. And there'll be a break as the physio comes on to take a look at him. But you would hate, as a centre-half, playing against him, wouldn't you? Well,
you would. But, I mean, the potential he's had in the last 4 years. I mean, he used to play for Heaton Stannington.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, as a real young lad, and he's come on. He could do with a full season without any injuries to see how many goals he can score and how good he can be. Because he's very exciting, isn't he? And as you say, you'd hate to play against him. I mean, he can give you, you know, he's a yard down and then all of a sudden he's a yard in front of you, isn't he?
25 years old now, so you'd think that he should be...
Well, you're right.
He should be coming into his own
now, yeah. But he could be exciting for South Shields this year, couldn't he?
He could, yes. Well, that was his third goal of the season. That rip snorter that he smashed in to make it 2-0 to South Shields, which remains the score here at the First Cloud Arena. As Plymouth, newly promoted to the Championship this season, take the lead against Blackburn Rovers. And he's going to be okay, I think, isn't he?
Yep, I think so.
Hopefully ready to come back on the pitch. He's
having a drink
gone off having a drink of water. Yeah, the other players as well took the opportunity on this warm afternoon here in South Shields to just take on some water and energy drinks. But we're ready to get underway, and Paul Blackett is going to come straight back on by the looks of it. Drop ball.
Yeah, he's on.
Which is uncontested, and so Banbury United have possession. Blackett jogs back onto the pitch, and Banbury try to build an attack up their left-hand side through Hewitt, and then it's played back to Ty Fleming. He plays it over to the left-hand side to another of their three Jacks, Jack Davis. Played long down the left-hand side, cleared out for a throw-in to Banbury. Charles looks to receive it short, but it goes back instead to Simeon May, and they'll come to this right-hand side instead. Now will Banbury. Played forward. Charles battling for it. Now to the right-hand side, crossed in from the right. It's cleared. Only half cleared, really. But South Shields, through Martin, are able to complete the job and then try and get forward down the right-hand side.
I've been impressed with our approach players, Simon. Banbury. They keep the ball down. It's just the last bit of the last third that they fail, you know. But
yeah, they take their time. They look for an opening, don't they? You know, if there's nothing on, they're confident on the ball. They'll play it to the other side of the pitch, and yeah, they'll be patient, and they haven't panicked despite going 2 goals down.
Not at all, no.
So South Shields have to be on their guard. 31 minutes in, they lead by 2-0 here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Banbury again in possession in the South Shields half. And again some decent passing leads to Tompkins having the ball down the right hand side, and then Hewitt now cuts into the penalty area and tries to get there ahead of CJ Clark though just stayed strong, used his considerable body just to stop Hewitt getting around him and shepherd it out for a goal kick. Had to be on his guard though, because Hewitt's lively, isn't he? And he's one that's caught the eye a little bit for the visitors this afternoon.
They're all comfortable on the ball, the front six, they really are, you know, but you're right. I mean, it's Shields who are leading 2-0, and the back lads at Shields have got to keep on the metal.
Manchester City have taken the lead against Fulham in the Premier League, and Bournemouth have equalised against Brentford. Here comes South Shields down the left hand side. Clark is tackled, just looks and asks why there wasn't any help for him, but South Shields still have it. Cardiff have the lead at Ipswich in the Championship. So Mongoy tries to cross with his left foot, it's blocked, out it goes. Revan, the defender, I think it's a throw-in, yes, rather than a corner, just out of sight behind the steps here. It's very much a redeveloped ground here at South Shields, and the press facilities are pretty decent for this level as well. We've got great seats just close to the halfway line, but the corners are just a bit obscure. Now South Shields with an opportunity to shoot. That opportunity was taken by Aaron Martin with his right foot. He was always kind of off balance because the ball was kind of bouncing away from goal. He was at the edge of the penalty area, leaning back, and it went wide. Yeah,
I think he'd be a little bit disappointed with his effort. He could have maybe, you need to swerve it with your right foot. He just fired through it really, and he should have had a bit more curve, as you would say, on it.
Yeah, just didn't manage to hook his right foot around it.
No, he didn't. No.
Played forward by Banbury, and again that man Hewitt sprints, shows good pace, gets there ahead of Liddell, and then plays it back to Tompkins, and then inside to Dath. Back out to the right hand side. Here's Tompkins again. Obadei, good one-touch football as they try to make headway into the penalty area. Shields though clear it, and Martin gets his head to it, and then it's played down the right hand side. Can Hassani get there first? Yes, he can. Decides to check on the ball and then plays it inside, but Martin just couldn't control it, and he loses out to Lawson Dath, and Banbury have it inside their own half. Dom Revan plays it back to Fleming. 34 minutes gone. South Shields leading by 2-0. Long ball forward, looking for the centre forward Ken Charles, but he was never going to catch that, and it's gone behind.
I'm quite impressed, Simon, with how comfortable Banbury are on the ball. You know, they can all play. I mean, in this lad here, Jack Tompkins, you know, is he playing right back, or is he?
Well, it's a 3-4-3, really, isn't it? He's much more of a wing back, and so. Yeah, they're not frightened to commit players forward.
Not at all, even though they're getting beat 2-0.
Well, yeah, and if South Shields get the ball, it's usually 3-on-3, isn't it? And here we are with Mongoy now. He's hauled to the ground, but he managed to get his pass away, and so the referee waves play on rather than give the foul. So Blackett can play out wide to the left-hand side, where CJ Clark looks to go outside, then checks, then goes outside again. But good play by Tompkins for Banbury. Just dispossesses him and keeps possession as well, doesn't panic, and then gets it back. He's been another impressive player.
Good player. He's had a good half hour.
Fulham have equalised at Manchester City, so they're making a game of it at the Etihad. I'll keep you up to date with all the Premier League scores and the Championship scores this afternoon. In the Championship, West Brom Huddersfield, latest score there is West Brom 0, Huddersfield 1. Banbury have it once more. Played forward, but Broadbent intercepts it and then exchanges passes. Receives it back, the big centre-half, who scored an absolute cracker, didn't he?
Oh, I've seen it.
Scarborough.
What a goal that was.
Yeah, we had him on Total Sport talking about that. From the centre circle. Well, normally when it's from the centre circle, it's a lob that's drifting over the keeper, but he absolutely thumped it, didn't it?
It was still, it was still going when I went and hit the back of the net. Yeah. A fantastic goal, and it was the only goal of the game as well, which made it all the more important. Here comes Shields down the right hand side, cross comes in, and this has got to be a great chance, and it's a great save as well. It was Blackett who 6 yards out, 8 yards out maybe, had the chance. The cross had come in from the right hand side from Lefudu, and it was Blackett who found space, took a shot with his left foot, and the goalkeeper Harding did well just to smother it, but it probably should have been 3-0, Paul. Well, it could have been, but the keeper done exceptionally well. But the front three for Shields won the break. Banbury's really find it hard to deal with them, they are. But goalie done well there.
Coventry 0, Watford 1 in the Championship. Free kick to Banbury. It could have gone 3-0 down, and you wonder whether they would have changed tactics at all if that had been the case. At the moment, I think they probably feel that they can get back into this game. If they could score by half-time,
if they get a goal, they're back in the game. I mean, they're comfortable on the ball, but it's about getting the goals, isn't it?
Yeah, they haven't really created very many clear-cut opportunities, and if they give the ball away like that, as they've just done to Hassani, then they're going to cause problems for themselves, because South Shields can break quickly. Mongoy comes back to Clark, though, and Briggs plays it back to Broadbent, who finds his central defensive partner Gary Liddell in his luminous yellow boots, and Broadbent has it back now. Plays it forward to Clark, just opens his body so that he can then look forward. Hassani's there for the pass. Lefudu, the fullback, turns and plays it back to Liddell. Briggs with his back to goal and deep inside his own half looks to turn and try and play it forward, which he does. It comes off a Banbury boot and out for a throw in to the visitors from Oxfordshire. A few teams from a long way away are playing in the National League North. Yeah. Kings Lynn are in this division, Gloucester are in this division as well, so there are some long journeys for South Shields.
Well, they've got to go there, you're right.
Spartans this season, but yeah. And VAR's intervened at the Etihad as Blackett's caught offside here, and so it's still 1-0 to Manchester City there. And Blackett, yeah, he was offside, just didn't quite time his run. He acknowledges the pass, just spun off the defender a split second too early. Poor Blackett's
when you've got that much speed, you know, and quickness, you've got to give yourself a yard on the defender, because, you know, you're just straight by him. He's very exciting forward, he is.
Long ball forward for Ken Charles to chase, but he's going to get nowhere near that, and it's gone out for a goal kick to South Shields, and Miles Boney is deep in conversation with Gary Liddell.
He's had very little to do, Boney, even though they've had a lot of possession. Isn't that right, Simon?
Yeah. The saves he's had to make have been very simple. One from Charles that he was able to gather easily, as it's played forward by Robert Briggs. Good ball as well down the left-hand side, looking for Martin. Martin's cross is blocked, but out it goes for a corner to South Shields. In the 40th minute, there'll be a couple of minutes added on as well because of the injury to Blackett.
Yeah, there will be, yeah.
But South Shields in no hurry to take this corner. It's going to be Lirak Hassani, the 21-year-old on loan from Gateshead.
He's had a good first half, I think.
Yeah, who'll take it, so he'll swing it in with his right foot. Plenty of claret and blue shirts to aim at. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in the box, one on the edge as well, as the cross comes in, and it is a South Shields head that goes up. I think it was Broadbent, wasn't it, that got his head to it, but he didn't quite meet it properly, and it was always drifting just wide.
He's better with his feet from 50 yards out, isn't he, than heading it 6 yards out.
He's disappointed with himself. Tom Broadbent, 31-year-old, once of Blackburn Rovers and Swindon, had 6 years in the army as well, and I'm sure he was a handful there too.
Oh, he's a big lad.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah. And he's proved he can kick the ball as well.
But it's still 2-0 to South Shields here at Mariners Park. As Banbury just try to start an attack, but good closing down from South Shields. That's something that I know that Julio Arca is very big on. Pressing as a team when the opportunity is there. That's something that they work hard on. Free kick to Banbury and it's taken quickly, and it's played out to the right hand side. The sun's gone in for the first time this afternoon.
I'm pleased. Give me a head of rest.
You don't have to apply another layer of cream at half time now either, do you, Dicker? But here come Banbury down the right hand side. It's Dath looking to find space to get across in. He's going to take a throw in now. Still a little bit of danger for South Shields to deal with here. Obadai has it as Rotherham double their lead against Norwich. 2-0 there now. The referee gets in the way and blows his whistle.
Good tackle by the ref there,
wasn't it? Drop ball, yeah. Banbury aren't too happy with that. It's an uncontested drop ball though, so they do get the ball back. Simeon May it is who has the ball, but he's surrounded by claret and blue shirts, and now it's 3-on-3 for South Shields. The ball's played through to Martin into the penalty area, comes inside onto his right foot. Martin will shoot right-footed into the bottom right-hand corner. There was always going to be danger there when Banbury had given the ball away. 3-on-3, South Shields did it exactly right. It was played through to Aaron Martin, and the former Gateshead man on his right foot just looked up, knew exactly what he wanted to do, used the inside of his foot, curled it in just inside the right hand post. No chance whatsoever for Jack Harding, and with just a few minutes to go until half time, you would think it is game over. It is South Shields 3, Banbury United 0.
Oh, that was some finish. It was really controlled his feet, shifted his body and just bent it into the far corner. He's more or less said to the two strikers, well, anything you can do, have a bit of this and pick that out. So that's a front three all scored now. They've been terrific in the first half. Martin, very, very good goal there.
Yeah, Aaron Martin is top scorer for South Shields this season. He's got 4 now. He moves ahead of Paul Blackett again in terms of that particular individual race, but it's all about the team this afternoon. And as Paul says, the front three, well, they've all done their job. They've caused problems all afternoon, and they have all got on the score sheet, as well as a couple of lads walked by with pie and chips as well, chips covered in gravy, which is tempting me ahead of half time. I wouldn't mind. Yes, let's just see what Banbury can do there, see if they can get a goal back before half time, because they have it on the edge of the South Shields penalty area. The shot in the end comes in from Tompkins, but it's high and wide.
Julio and Tommy Miller there just in front of us. They must be absolutely thrilled. We spoke about before the game that, you know, he wanted to produce the form when they beat Gloucester here 3-0. First half's been terrific, and the fans absolutely thrilled with 3 wonderful goals that have gone in.
Julio dressed in a grey jumper, shirt and tie. Tommy Miller in his tracksuit. The rest are in discussions on the touchline, but as you say, they'll be very happy with the way things have gone so far this afternoon. The assistant referee just comes and tells him to get out of the way because he's got to make his way up the line. Quite tight, not much room between the edge of the pitch and the dugout. As Middlesbrough 0, QPR 1 is the latest in the Championship. And here come Banbury. Still their heads don't seem to have dropped despite going 3-0 down, but they have their work cut out this afternoon. Lawson Dath plays it out wide to the left-hand side. Jack Davis down the line looking for Hewitt, who has been perhaps their liveliest player this afternoon, but he can't get on the end of that. And every time South Shields get it, you think they're going to break quickly, which they try to do, and Martin just can't control on this occasion. So it goes all the way through to Harding, the Banbury keeper. They're 19th in the division, Banbury, but they're only 4 points behind South Shields going into this game. It's all quite tight in there, but it looks as though South Shields will be stretching that advantage over this afternoon's opponents, the way things are going so far. Again, it's Hewitt who pirouettes on the ball and plays it out to the left-hand side, where Lewis Hall controls it but doesn't have an option going forward, so he has to come all the way back to Ty Fleming, and then gets it back down the left-hand side. There's Hall, cross comes in, dealt with though by South Shields. Blair Adams just gets a touch on it.
3 minutes added.
Well spotted, Dicker. 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. So South Shields just look to make sure they do nothing daft as the ball is drilled by Miles Boney. Just mishit it slightly. Almost hit Julio Arca in the dugout, but goes out instead for a throw-in to Banbury. Tompkins aggressively tries to win the ball back, but it's cleared by Robert Briggs. Out for a throw-in. Taken quickly by Fleming. Back to the goalkeeper, Harding. As South Shields look to maybe, well, I just want to consolidate, go in at 3-0 up. They'd be happy with that.
More than happy they will be. I mean, Julio and Tommy in front of us will be thrilled at half time. I bet the tea tastes nice.
They will. They still drink tea at half time, Dick. It's energy drinks these days, even for the management team, I think.
Kind of like a cup of tea at half time, Simon.
You're old school, Dicker.
Oh, but I still like a cup of tea.
Banbury have it as Spurs take the lead now at Burnley. They've come from behind and lead by 2-1 at Turf Moor. Hassani plays it forward, and Mongoy, well, he just wanted it played to feet rather than so far in front of him, so he was never going to get to that. As we move into the last minute of first half stoppage time, Banbury try to launch one last attack through Revan, but the long ball is collected by Boney at the edge of his penalty area. He just collects it to his chest.
He's a big lad, isn't he?
The keeper?
Yeah.
He is. Those shorts are a bit tight on him. He's got massive thighs, hasn't he? Perhaps somewhat unusually for a keeper. His 4th season here, former Blackpool man, Miles Boney. Important part of the team, and flick on to Blackett with his right foot clips. Oh, I thought it was the top of the bar, but I think it was the top of the stand behind the goal, actually, and it's gone over behind anyway for a goal kick. But that was a decent chance for Blackett from the flick on with his right foot to make it 4-0, Dicker, but he just
could have made it
4-0
there. Brilliant header by Martin, got up well. I mean, he had time and more time, and then he just clipped it. You're right, it didn't hit the bar, it hit the holdings behind, but that could have been 4 easily.
Well, it's been a pretty decent afternoon so far for the North East teams we've been featuring on BBC Radio Newcastle, following Sunderland's 5-0 win over Southampton at the Stadium of Light. South Shields, well, they're following suit, they're keeping pace.
Anything you can do,
goal tally, yeah. Exactly, and they lead by 3-0 this afternoon as the half-time whistle is blown, and as you would expect, warm applause comes from all corners of the ground. I'm actually looking around to see if there are any Banbury supporters anywhere. I know that there are a couple of lads who do radio commentary of every game, who I saw earlier, but I don't know if any supporters have actually made the trip. It's mainly South Shields fans here this afternoon, and they will be pretty happy as they enjoy their half-time beverage, Paul Dixon, because their team has been the better team throughout, and they lead by 3-0.
Oh, brilliant. And all 3 goals were superb. I mean, if you can watch them, have a look at them, because terrific finish. The front 3, Martin, Mongoy and Blackett, have been sensational, I think. I mean, really hard to defend against. I mean, Banbury have played good football where we are in South Shields half, held the ball, played good football, but on the break, I mean, we've just seen Blackett there miss a chance which could have been 4, but I think they'll be delighted with 3, and the crowd, thrilled with them at half time. I mean, you're right. I mean, we talked about making this ground a fortress for they've got to travel from all over the country more or less to come here, make it tough for them, and South Shields have done that in the first half.
They are a handful, the front 3, as you say. They'd be a handful for a back 4 or for a back 5, but Banbury, bravely you might say, perhaps a little bit foolishly,
really.
others might say. It's 3-on-3 so often.
And they can't cope with them.
They're finding it difficult to deal with, so I wonder if they'll have a rethink in the second half. The thing for them is, of course, if they want to get back in the game, they have to commit players forward. So it remains to be seen what they choose to do. It remains to be seen as well if South Shields remain in control as to whether Julio Arca decides to make a few changes as well later in the second half and rest a few legs. But he and his assistant Tommy Miller will be very happy with his side's first half work. It's a goal for each of the front three of South Shields: Paul Blackett, Aaron Martin and Geordie Mungoy, all on the score sheet. And at half time here at the First Cloud Arena, it is South Shields 3, Banbury United 0.
I don't know how it's happened, but we've ended up talking about getting stung by a bee this morning.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Dave from Sunderland's on the phone. What's your story?
I was helping a mate do some work at another mate's house outside, and I said to my mate, I said, I felt something crawl up my jeans. He said, you're just imagining it. And I went into his house and I heard a buzzing down my jeans. I pulled him down and stung us on the bum.
I don't know what's worse. You get stung by the bee on your backside, or you just standing with your pants down.
My mate had to dab it with a dishcloth.
That is when you know you've got a true mate, isn't it? A mate who will dab your backside with a dishcloth.
The sound of the North East at breakfast. BBC Radio Newcastle, making a difference in the North East.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
It's all going rather well at the First Cloud Arena at half-time. South Shields leading Banbury United by 3-0. Geordie Mungoy, Paul Blackett and Aaron Martin, the scorers. Will be back with Pridey and Dicker for full commentary of the second half in about 10 minutes' time. Elsewhere then in the Premier League at half-time, it is Brentford 1, Bournemouth 1. Matthias Jensen giving Brentford the lead. Dominic Solanke equalising for Bournemouth. Spurs have turned it around to lead 2-1 at Burnley at the break. Lyle Foster had given Burnley the lead after just 4 minutes, but Son Heung-min and Christian Romero have given Spurs the advantage at half-time. Goalless between Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, and it's one apiece between Manchester City and Fulham. Julian Alvarez scoring for Manchester City just after half an hour, and then 2 minutes later Fulham equalised through Tim Ream. There was a suggestion at one point that VAR had ruled that one out, but it did not. So Manchester City won, Fulham won. Newcastle United are away to Brighton at 5:30, and we will come back to that one very shortly.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into the Championship then, Sunderland thumped Southampton by 5-0 earlier on today. We'll hear from Tony Mowbray shortly. There were two other early games as well. It finished Birmingham 1, Millwall 1. Birmingham missing a penalty at the end of the first half when they were already 1-0 down, but Jay Stansfield equalised for them 8 minutes into the second half, and that is how it finished. Bristol City came from behind in the other lunchtime game to win 2-1 at Swansea. Mark Sykes and Sam Bell for them in the second half. And then in the 3 o'clock games at half-time, it's Coventry 1, Watford 1. Mileta Rajovic for Watford, Milan Van Ewijk scoring the equaliser for Coventry 4 minutes before half-time. Aaron Ramsey's given Cardiff a 1-0 lead at Ipswich. It's goalless between Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday, but Hull City lead at Leicester through Liam Delap. Queen's Park Rangers 1-0 up at Middlesbrough, and it took until the 43rd minute for that goal, but Andre Dazelle scoring Queen's Park Rangers goal. At Plymouth 1, Blackburn 0. Finn Azaz after 27 minutes. Rotherham are now 2-0 up on Norwich City. Dexter Lembikisa with the first, Jordan Hugo with the second. It's goalless between Stoke City and Preston, and Huddersfield lead 1-0 away at West Bromwich Albion.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Let's rattle through Leagues 1 and 2 then. In League 1, Blackpool are leading Wigan by a 0 thanks to Jordan Rhodes. It's two penalties actually that have given the half-time score of Bolton 1, Derby County 1. No goals between Bristol Rovers and Lincoln, or between Burton Albion and Exeter, or between Carlisle and Shrewsbury. It's one apiece between Charlton and Fleetwood. Goalless between Cheltenham and Barnsley. Stevenage are 2-0 up away at Leyton Orient. It's Northampton Town 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1. No goals between Oxford United and Port Vale, and Portsmouth have just, towards the very end of the first half, come from behind to lead Peterborough by 2-1. And then in League 2, the early game saw Wrexham win 1-0 away at Tranmere Rovers. Aaron Hayden with the winner. And then in the 3 o'clock games, MK Dons are 1-0 up away at Crewe. It's goalless between Doncaster and Swindon, but Doncaster down to 10 men on the stroke of half-time. Grimsby a couple of goals to the good against Gillingham. Barrow are winning 1-0 away at Harrogate. No goals between Mansfield and Bradford, but Morecambe are beating Salford City thanks to Mickey Mellon. Newport County 1, AFC Wimbledon 2. It's Notts County 1, Accrington Stanley 1. Stockport are 2-1 up on Crawley. Adam Campbell, formerly of Gateshead, scoring Crawley's goal there, but they are 2-1 down at half-time. And it's goalless in the final two games in League 2. Sutton United against Forest Green Rovers and Walsall against Colchester.
Total Sport North East.
Get the latest team news, score updates and post-match reaction on Twitter at BBC Newcastle.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into non-league then as well, obviously, as our commentary game, which has South Shields leading by 3-0 at half-time home to Banbury United in the National League North. The other game in that division is also going our way because Blythe are 1-0 up away at Boston United at the break. Cedric Main after 25 minutes. In the Northern Premier League East Division, no goals between Bridlington and Ashington or between Hebburn and Liversedge, and there are 4 of our teams in first round qualifying action in the FA Cup as well. And Dunstan are drawing 1-1 now away at Ashton United. They had been 1-0 down, but David Robinson scored their equaliser. Consett though are 1-0 down at half-time at home to Bradford Park Avenue. So too are Heaton Stannington away at Tadcaster Albion, but Morpeth are 1-1 at home to Radcliffe. Michael Turner after 6 minutes for Morpeth, and that was the equaliser because Radcliffe had already taken the lead. 1-1 at the break there. We'll round up the whole non-league day and we'll do that at half-time in the Newcastle United match.
You are unstoppable.
I went on a little pick.
I started buying bread and giving it for free.
Together, you've made a massive difference in your community.
We've raised over £2,000, which is absolutely brilliant.
The enjoyment that we give them makes it all worthwhile.
Now it's time to say thank you.
Members of the community involved in taking action against litter to help save our wildlife and our environment.
Ahead of our Make a Difference awards ceremony, we're revealing the nominees.
Keep listening to hear their stories.
I'm really glad and happy to be able to give something back.
BBC Radio Newcastle, making a difference in the North East.
It's 3-0 to South Shields at half-time. We'll be back at the First Clyde Arena for commentary of the second half in just a few minutes' time. But in commentary number 1 today, Sunderland thrashed Southampton 5-0 at the Stadium of Light. Pierre Equa scored twice from outside the box. Jack Clark scored after 53 seconds. Chris Rigg scored his first league goal for the club in the final minute of the game. Bradley Dack got the other one as well. So here's head coach Tony Mowbray then. How happy was he?
I think obviously the result today is important for the team and for the spirit. It's been a tough week in the build-up to it, to the point of a lot of speculation about a lot of our players. Even training yesterday, rumours about certain clubs looking at certain players, and it disrupts a little bit young footballers who I can see them talking to the lads, and yet they showed great professionalism today, and I think we all turned up today and did what we hoped we could do. It's pleased for Equa, a great young man really. All the French players that we got, Pierre's like even though he's still very young himself, he's like the go-between of all of them. If there's a message that needs to be sent, he's a really professional guy. So pleased for him today. Pleased for them all, pleased for Rigg at the end, pleased for Jewison to get on the pitch and do his amazing pirouettes, and happy with the day, happy for the fans who came, and it's on paper this is a really difficult game. When you looked at their squad, I looked at the back of the programme when I got in early this morning, and just see the name after name after name of really experienced high quality footballers, and I know they've lost a lot of players, and like anything, like us, we're going to have to settle the group down now the window's shut, and see what we feel the right balance is.
So a very comprehensive win for Sunderland there, and that's their head coach Tony Mowbray. But how will Newcastle United get on at Brighton at 5:30 then? They've got quite the act to follow, given that South Shields are 3-0 up at half-time as well. But if anyone knows how they're going to get on, it's our Newcastle United commentary duo of Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi, Colin. Well, we're not really sure how this is going to go. That's something we've just been discussing. We can't call it at the moment. Brighton had a bad defeat last weekend despite dominating against West Ham, and Newcastle have lost their last 2, and they don't normally play well here or do particularly well against Brighton, so it's interesting.
It is, and I mean all the euphoria of the Champions League draw on Thursday, and obviously Newcastle fans not particularly fussed by the transfer window closing yesterday. The times and dates of the Champions League fixtures confirmed this morning, which kind of extends the excitement about it all. But for all of that, Newcastle could do without going into the international break on the back of 3 defeats in a row.
Without a doubt, yeah. I mean, the last thing you want to do, Colin, is go into an international break on the back of 3 consecutive defeats. Because you've got to stew on it for that length of time before you've got your next league game coming up, and then all almost immediately after that you've then got a Champions League game. So you would want to win here today. It's a big game for both sides, you know, because they both want to bounce back. As Razor's already said, disappointing here for Brighton the last day against West Ham, and of course us against Liverpool. You know, you're a goal up with 10 minutes to go and ended up losing it, so that was disappointing as well. So both sides will be looking to bounce back today.
I'm sure every PA announcer around the country just waits until we're on air before they practice their system tests. But anyway,
absolutely.
Just one for you, Razor, as well, because a couple of players went off injured, one looking a little bit more serious than the other last time out against Liverpool, Sven Botman and Joey Linton. But I guess there is actually a chance we could see both of them back today.
Yes, Eddie Howe says there's a small possibility that Botman will play. That would appear to be a surprise given how much pain he seemed to be in last weekend. But until we know for certain, you can't really discount him. And Joe Linton, well, he hasn't done much training this week either, but Eddie Howe said he was feeling better towards the weekend. So we'll see. I wonder anyway, Colin, if you'd be tempted to make one or two changes in any case, whether they are the enforced ones or possibly more beyond that, just to try and get a reaction in terms of a result. But we'll get the team at 4:30, an hour before kickoff, and we'll update you during the second half of the South Shields match.
Please do. Matthew Raisbeck, John Anderson, thank you very much to both of you for the moment. We will be back down at the Amex from around about 5 o'clock. The kickoff is at 5:30. Just time to tell you as well, in Rugby League's Championship, Newcastle Thunder, who cannot afford to lose this afternoon, and they are playing to lose, and they are 18 down at half-time at Kingston Park. But that is a little bit closer than it has been between the two teams in the past few encounters. So here's hoping for a big second half from them. But we are going to head back to the First Cloud Arena. South Shields 3-0 up on Banbury United at half-time. Full second half commentary on the way then in just a moment with Simon Pride and Paul Dixon.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And there's a cross coming in from the right again. Header comes in as well. And what a good header it was. The cross came in from the right-hand side. Geordie Mungoy had come into the 6-yard box. He'd cut in from the left. He was unmarked, and he just nodded it in at the near post. Banbury have some respite. Obadiah, though, is dispossessed, and the goals, and Blackett can go down the right-hand side and gets it again. Oh, what a shot! And what a goal from Paul Blackett. The original chance looked like it had gone. The ball ricocheted from a Banbury defender straight on to the right foot of Paul Blackett, and the former Gateshead and Spennymoor man smashed it first time like a rocket. Played through to Martin. Martin into the penalty area, comes inside onto his right foot. Martin will shoot right-footed into the bottom right-hand corner. There was always going to be danger there when Banbury had given the ball away. 3-on-3. South Shields did it exactly right. It is South Shields 3, Banbury United 0.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And welcome back to the First Cloud Arena, where the teams have just come out for the second half, so impeccable timing. Doesn't look like South Shields have made any changes. Just having a look at the Banbury lineup to see if they look any different ahead of this second half. But as far as the Julio Arca and Tommy Miller team talk at half-time would have been concerned, Paul Dixon, it'll just be a bit more of the same, please.
Well, I would think so. I think he'll be thrilled and looking over to where the three forwards get changed. He'll be looking at them and think, thank you very much, lads. Terrific performance in the first half. Now it's up to, to either see the game out, or, if Banbury want to push forward, I don't think they will, because the front three, if there's holes there, they'll exploit them. But no, I'd be well pleased with that.
And thank you very much for the chips and gravy. My wish was your command at half-time as well. So we just polished those off in time, didn't we, before you came back to us. So yes, we've enjoyed the hospitality here at Mariners Park this afternoon, as well as the referee just goes through his final checks before he decides that he's able to get this second half underway. Mr. Griffiths, not quite sure what he is waiting for, but we are ready to get underway with South Shields leading by 3-0. They'll be shooting from left to right as we look in this second half, and Banbury it is who will kick-off. They actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players pretty much on the halfway line to kick off with. So off we go, and we'll see if they immediately try and get South Shields on the back foot and try and force their way back in to this game. But it's a big ask for the side that are 19th in the division. But we shall see. They have it inside their own half. No changes for either side. Banbury just content to keep possession. South Shields would, I'm sure, be happy enough to see the game out, but I think bearing in mind the way that the first half went, the crowd would fancy a couple more goals at least, but they have a bit of defending to do at first, though, because Banbury are coming down the right-hand side. Tompkins, who caused a few problems in the first half, crosses with his right foot, and there's a scissors kick as well, which is just miskicked in the end by Ken Charles. And South Shields just about clear it, but yeah, he found himself a bit of space, did the striker there. Went for the spectacular, went for the scissors kick, but got it all wrong.
Would have been some goal if that had went in. You're right. He just took the neck off it, really. But no, you're right. I mean, Julio will be telling them he wants a clean sheet. They keep it tight at the back. Don't give them any encouragement at all, and let's see if we can add to our goal tally.
So just some early warning signs there. So the last thing they want to do is come out and concede early in this second half and make it slightly less comfortable than it should be.
Don't want to give them any encouragement, really, do you?
And managers, no matter who they are, no matter where they are, no matter what their football philosophies, love clean sheets, don't they?
They do, yeah. And they'll talk for hours on it.
We get to see Paul Blackett at slightly closer quarters in this second half. He plays as the right-hand forward of the front three for South Shields. I'll go through the two teams for you. And there's a break in play. But for now, Tom Broadbent has it for South Shields and plays it forward. Blackett dummies it. Thought that Martin might have been behind him, but he wasn't, so it's gone all the way through to the goalkeeper. So South Shields line up with Miles Boney in goal. John Lafudu's at right back and Blair Adams, the skipper's at left back. Broadbent and Little, the two centre halves. Lira Kasani, Robert Briggs, CJ Clark across the middle, with Blackett, Aaron Martin and Geordie Mongoy, the front three, all of whom got on the score sheet in the first half. Banbury line up with Jack Harding in goal. Jack Davis, Ty Fleming, Dom Revan, Jack Tompkins, Craig Hewitt, Simeon May, Lewis Hall, Lawson Dath and Ken Charles, supported up front by Tope Obadei. And Banbury have it inside their own half. It goes back to Jack Harding, the goalkeeper, all in grey, luminous green boots. With his left foot he clears it up the left-hand side. Lafudu challenges, and then Blackett blocks another clearance. And here comes South Shields. Mongoy was involved as well, and now Lafudu has it on the right. Hassani now on halfway. Back to Broadbent. Broadbent's got Briggs just in front of him, and he finds the midfielder, who gives it back to Broadbent again. South Shields just enjoying possession. Here's Blair Adams. Adams plays it forward. That's a slightly sloppy pass, though. It's intercepted. Aaron Martin again almost makes something out of nothing. And then he's offside as the ricochet comes towards him, so he has to leave it, and it goes all the way through to Jack Harding. 3-0 to South Shields against Banbury United. National League North football here on BBC Radio Newcastle. You've already heard Sunderland beating Southampton by 5-0. Quite a result, an eye-catching result in the Championship. I wonder what Ross Stewart thought watching that, having left Wearside for the South Coast. And we have Brighton versus Newcastle from the South Coast with Ando and Razor to come as well. Plenty of football on BBC Radio Newcastle this afternoon. That's what we are all about. Total Sport back on air on Monday evening as well from 6 to dissect all of the action, and there will be plenty to talk about. Cleared long by Miles Boney. all the way. Well, Clark's trying to get there down the right-hand side.
Would you call that Route 1, Simon?
You would, yeah. Well, Route 1, but kind of, yeah. But not hitting hope. There was, he knew what he was doing. He knew he was aiming for, Miles Bodie, didn't he? But
need a bit more chalk on his cue there, didn't he? Really? Yeah.
A little bit of backspin. Lafudu has it though for South Shields. Good on the ball, the right back, as Nottingham Forest take the lead at Chelsea in the Premier League. The ball forward towards Blackett. He can't get there. Back it goes to Harding. I don't normally have gravy on my chips, but that's a nice. It looked nice when I saw somebody else with it. I'm glad you got it. It's a good combination, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gravy and chips. Yeah, I think anything's nice when you're starving like we were.
Aaron Martin flicks it forward towards Blackett. Blackett into the penalty area. He's just shepherded out of it though by Fleming. Can he get it back? And the keeper's lost it.
Oh.
It was actually an open goal, but it was put wide in the end by Jordi Mongoy. The keeper made a bit of a hash of it. It looked like the chance had gone. The keeper then tried to scoop it from the deck as it came back to him. He lost it. Mongoy, to be fair to him, had kept running just in case. Got there first. And then he probably should have scored, but just put it into the right-hand post side netting.
I think he'd be disappointed. I think he should have scored. You're right. Blackett doing well, just toe poked at him. He had a good bit of the goal to hit, and he's hit it in the side netting.
Could have been 4, but it stays 3-0 to South Shields.
You think there'll be more goals, don't you?
Preston have taken the lead at Stoke. And here come Banbury now through Lewis Hall. He'll play it down the left-hand side to Hewitt. Hewitt with his right foot crosses it in from an angle, which is dealt with by Liddell with his head, heads it clear. Adams with his left foot plays it forward to Martin down the left-hand side. But it's tidied up by Dom Revan for Banbury as Norwich pull a goal back at Rotherham. Rotherham 2, Norwich 1 now in the Championship. Here's Hewitt again. I think he's the most likely to unlock the door, if anyone does, in a Banbury shirt this afternoon.
He looks a good player, he does. He's got good movement and he's neat on the ball.
West Brom 1, Huddersfield 1, also in the Championship. They haven't created too many clear-cut opportunities, the visitors this afternoon, and Julio Arca will hope it stays that way. Dath has it and just slots it through towards Hewitt. Hewitt turns on the edge of the penalty area, goes down under the challenge, no foul, but Blackett is frustrated because he wanted the ball over the top again, but it was a bit of a misunderstanding, played to his feet and the defender was able to intercept. So Briggs will start again. Clark just misses out. It's pinging backwards and forwards in midfield. And Martin holds it up well. Big, strong play. And plays it down to Mongoy down the right-hand side. He'll cross first time with his right foot. Blackett's in the middle. Good defending just to nick it away from his toes by Fleming. But the danger's not over. Well, it is now. And Banbury are able to bring it clear.
Could have been another goal. Great play by the front three again. And Blackett just missed it. Good defending.
Yeah, Fleming just nipped in, got his toe to it. I think if he hadn't, it would have been a tap-in for Paul Blackett. But you're right, the front three combined again, all three of them involved in that
three
move.
of them, incredible it is. Very thoughtful ball into the box as well for Blackett.
And they do interchange positions too.
They do, yeah. They cause all kinds of trouble for the defence.
Cleared by Harding. Charles, can he get behind Broadbent? No. Broadbent's strong. Stays between his opponent and the ball and then calmly plays it out wide to Adams, who clears it long.
Do you know,
the danger's over. The sun's out again.
The two fullbacks for South Shields just absolutely love to get forward, but you know, Lafundu did get forward in the first half, but you know, the front three are that quick that if they dink the ball into them, they're the way in attacking, so they don't need the two fullbacks to really get that much forward.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really been, I mean, there's been some decent football, but they have looked to get it forward quickly for obvious reasons. We can see why, because it's effective.
Play the football with each other, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, they're developing a good understanding.
Well, they have today, yes, you're right.
These Banbury players, most of them arrived in the summer. They're all new players, and they probably will take a little bit more time to gel.
Oh, they will.
Oh, and a good piece of play from Blackett. Again, nips in to win the ball. Now he's got support in Martin, but he's going to go it alone. He tries to hit it with his right foot, but again, good defending. Ty Fleming once again potentially saves his team a goal.
It was in two minds, wasn't he? You had a look at the Shields play on the left. I think it was Martin, and then he said, "No, I'm going to go myself." And the defender's just got a foot in. You know, every time he gets the ball, Blackett, things happen.
It was 2-on-2 that time. But Ty Fleming did well again. South Shields, though, do have a corner, which we're taking from the right-hand side, as Spurs get a third at Burnley. 3-1 now to them. Burnley struggling a little bit. Their return to the top flight under Vincent Kompany. Hassani will take this corner with his right foot. It's to the edge of the area. A little bit of a training ground routine. The shot came in from Lefudu, but it was blocked. Back to him, it was actually Clark, sorry, and Clark crosses with his left foot now, but that's going behind.
Too hard.
And out of play.
Yeah. I tell you what's good to see though, Simon, and Banbury done it as well in the first half. The creative football they have from corners and throw-ins in and around the box. They're definitely working on their training ground with that.
Yeah, Clark it was who peeled away to try and get a shot away from the corner. Going to be a couple of substitutions made by the visitors this afternoon. So Simeon May is going to come off.
And Jack Davis, I think it is.
And Aidan Elliott-Wheeler is coming on.
Me and Davis off. Yeah.
So Davis is going on, okay. Sorry, Davis off.
Elliott-Wheeler on.
Yep, Aidan Elliott-Wheeler.
Yeah.
Has come on, and Emmanuel Marja, Manny Marja, new signing for them, signed in midweek, has come on as well.
And there's the sun back out.
So Banbury, the first to make changes this afternoon. We'll see if they change their formation at all with those substitutions. Marja, no relation to the former Sunderland striker Josh, by the way, has come to the left of midfield. Banbury try to make headway up the left-hand side. Hewitt once again involved. Martin caught offside. It's actually gone out for a throw-in, has it? Yes, it has. So it's a throw-in to Banbury. On this left-hand side, Lewis Hall plays it forward with his left foot. Lefudu does well to get his head to it. Out of play. Stoke nil, Preston 2 now. Marja, it's his first touch, and then it's played out wide to Dath on the right-hand side. Banbury just enjoying a little bit of possession here. Tompkins, and then back it goes to Marja. And Elliott-Wheeler, who's in the centre, the other substitute, just making a bit of a nuisance of himself and winning the ball back too for his team. And gets it again. Looks for Charles. Charles on the edge of the penalty area. Tries to work it onto his right foot. Goes down in the D. No foul given. South Shields just tidy up. Lefudu back to the goalkeeper Boney. Boney to halfway. For once the South Shields forwards are outnumbered and nothing comes of it. Lefudu bursting forward across halfway, showing great pace, but just doesn't quite manage to control it. It goes out of play and out for a throw into Banbury, who take it quickly, looking to perhaps exploit the space that Lefudu had left, but they're forced backwards through Dath and then all the way back to Revan.
Tell you what, they're still looking to play, aren't they? You know, the passing movement all the time.
And they still have possession. Do Banbury. They have it on the left-hand side now. Hall does well, and Fleming crosses with his left foot. Headed clear by Little. And out of play again. Clear throw to South Shields. Tommy Miller shouting instructions. Same again, Briggsy says.
Yeah, he's not happy. He wants one or two things squared up in the middle of the park, I think.
But South Shields will be very happy with how things have gone. We're 15 minutes into the second half and they lead by 3-0 at the First Cloud Arena. Having beaten Gloucester 3-0 here in their previous home game. They've also beaten Scarborough here and Alfreton, scoring, well, now 10 goals in the process of those matches, including today's, and conceding just 1. So certainly home form is going to be important this season, and they've made a good start in that sense to this campaign in the National League North. And can they maybe break away here, because they've got men forward. It's played forward as well to Martin, gets it onto his left foot, digs it out to Blackett, and then he gets it onto his left foot as well, just inside the 6-yard box from an angle, blocked out for a corner.
Good play again, and they're getting Blackett in. You know, he scored a wonderful goal, and he's been in about 3 or 4 other times. He's caused them no end of bother in that defence.
Yeah, and he's won his team a corner, which will be taken from the left-hand side. The man on the set piece again will be Lirak Hassani, just 21 years old. Has Kosovan Albanian parents, formerly of Doncaster, and he's on loan from Gateshead this season. And he's impressed Paul, I know, this afternoon, isn't he?
Yeah, good player, yeah, he's comfortable on the ball.
With his right foot, he plays it into the 6-yard box, and Broadbent again it was who rose highest, but the referee deemed that he'd used his hands just to gain a little bit of elevation, and so that's a free kick to Banbury.
What have we played? 15 minutes, and we've played an hour, have we? Yes. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, 17 minutes into the second half.
I'm just wondering if the lads in front of us here, Julio and Tommy, if they're thinking about bringing a few subs on, you know.
You think that they might?
Because they're comfortable on.
They've got Dylan Morse, Mackenzie Heaney, Jed Abbey, Luke James and Martin Smith on the bench. So plenty of options, and a lot of those players will feel they should be starting matches. That's the way it is at South Shields. They've got a decent sized squad, full-time players.
And that's right, and if you get in the team, you've got to perform, haven't you, you know? Which they have done today for an hour.
Played forward again, another early ball, long ball forward by South Shields. Comes to nothing on this occasion. Harding deals with it quickly and gets Banbury moving forward again. Ipswich 1, Cardiff 2 now in the Championship. South Shields just keeping their shape, letting Banbury have it where they do have it, deep inside their own half at the moment. And it's drilled forward, but to nobody in particular.
No, that was wasted, that. He just gives that away from just outside his own box.
Emmanuel Marja making his debut for his new club from the bench this afternoon. Briggs is dispossessed, but it's gone out for a throw into South Shields. John Lafudu takes his time. Joined them in the summer. Born in the Democratic Republic of Congo, John Lafudu. As Man City now go 3-1 up against Fulham. Sliced clearance from Jack Harding. Good header from Martin, who's just dropped back a little bit to help out his midfield, and 1-2 aerial duels there.
Oh, snow on that.
Yes, the clearance from Boney. It's gone ridiculously high, but it's landed well at the edge of the penalty area, and well, Mongoy fancied getting on the end of it, but wasn't able to do so. Hassani challenging as well, but here's Charles now in a decent position for the visitors. Banbury tackled well at the edge of the penalty area. Broadbent's hurt himself in the process of making a very important challenge, which stopped his opponent getting a shot in, and he's just gone down holding his knee.
Maybe he's overstretched there, I think, isn't he?
Referee just waiting to see if he's okay.
He doesn't look too well. Physio's going on.
It was an important challenge. Ken Charles had just found a bit of space, hadn't he?
He had. Bit of movement on the bench there.
Yes, indeed. Looks like Luke James is gonna come on. For South Shields. Broadbent still getting treatment though, so they're just waiting before they make the substitution. The South Shields management team.
Yeah, they'll have to wait and see how Broadbent is. But
a couple of the South Shields players coming over to have a drink. Nafudu, one of them, just in conversation now with Julio Arca.
Well, it's a very warm afternoon, isn't it? It's waking out to that.
The sun's back out again. There is a bit of a breeze, but it's a hot day to be playing football. Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett enjoyed a warm early afternoon at the Stadium of Light, where in our first commentary match Sunderland beat Southampton by 5-0. A bit more reaction you'll hear to that a bit later this afternoon, and then later on we have Brighton and Hove Albion against Newcastle, a more than tasty encounter in the Premier League to look forward to. It's a bit of North versus South today, really, with Southampton and Brighton, two South Coast teams. And all right, Banbury aren't on the South Coast, but bearing in mind this is the National League North, this is about as south as you can get an opponent in this division.
This league, yeah, you're right.
Coventry 2, Watford 2 in the Championship. Looks like Broadbent is going to be okay. So we'll wait and see what happens with the substitution here. Luke James is on, and it is one of the goal scorers, Aaron Martin, the centre forward, who has come off. So James will.
He's played well, played really well there.
He has. Yeah, he gets a good round of applause there, and well deserved. He took his goal very well, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's won some good headers, and he's held the ball up very well.
Slightly different sort of player, Luke James. What can you tell us about him, Dicker, as he tries to win a header, having just come on the pitch?
Well, he's quick and he can play, and he's got an eye for goal as well. But you're right, just totally different to Aaron Martin.
He'll feel, having scored 3 himself this season, Luke James, that he should have had more opportunities. So he's got a bit of a point to prove this afternoon. That's Hassani. And then Briggs tried to win the ball, and Shields do eventually get it back in midfield, and the sub James does well to hold it up too. Clark goes down under a heavy challenge from Marja.
He's caught him as well, I think.
Yeah.
Looks a bit sore, yeah.
No foul given. Clark just rather gingerly gets to his feet.
Just taking a few minutes.
South Shields leading by 3-0 here. There's going to be another substitution as well in terms of the visitors. Waiting to come on is Tyrrell Hamilton, and he is going to replace Tope Odebaye, vastly experienced, who's played for Bolton in the top flight. Tope Odebaye hasn't had much of a look in this afternoon. Burnley 1, Spurs 5 now. So on comes Tyrrell Hamilton to see if he can have a bit more luck for Banbury. He'll play on the right hand side of their attack, and still some treatment there for Clark. A little bit of concern there. Could go down rather heavily after the challenge. Manny Madja, who was responsible for the challenge, has come over to see how he is.
I didn't think it was that bad, but he hasn't gotten up yet, has he?
And no foul was given. He's a big unit as well, isn't he, the substitute for Banbury?
Oh, he is.
Manny Madja. So I'm sure, yeah, if he does connect, it can be pretty painful. Just seems to be his knee, or just below the right knee, that seems to be the issue with CJ Clark. So maybe
I think he's struggling.
Maybe Julio Arca will be forced into another change. It looks like Abbey is gonna come on. Yes, Jed Abbey.
He's a big lad and all, isn't he?
He is, yes.
Yeah.
And number 25 is just stripping off in front of us.
Yeah.
Tommy Miller just confirming to the assistant referee that they're going to make the substitution. So Clark is going to come off.
He's worked hard. Deserves a round of applause.
Yeah.
He's played a big part in this game today.
They've all put in a shift, haven't they, this afternoon?
They have.
It's Hartlepool 2, Wealdstone 0. So Jed Abbey is coming on. He actually had a loan spell 2 seasons ago at Banbury. But he won't know any of these players because they all arrived since then, apart from the keeper.
They've all just come, haven't they?
Yes.
Something to the club, yeah. And you can see that in the play as well, Simon, I think, you know. I mean, it'll take them a while, but they can all play with just gelling them together.
So here at Banbury trying to play it out, but they overplay it a little bit, and that gave South Shields an opportunity. Mongoy it was who was there, but his first time effort from outside the area was deflected in the end, and it comes to nothing, so it's a goal kick for Banbury.
I think the crowd could do with another goal, Simon, just to liven them up a bit, even though, you know, don't be too greedy. They're winning 3.
26 minutes into this second half. South Shields comfortable, 3-0 up. So they'll probably move up the table this afternoon. James plays it forward, good ball as well. Blackett has it and plays it back to James again. James with his right foot across towards the far post, just over the head of Mongoy and out for a goal kick, but you can see exactly what he was trying to do there.
Very, very inviting pass. He's just curled it away from the goalkeeper, but just couldn't get to it at the back post there. Mongo.
So it'll be a goal kick again for Banbury, who haven't really created anything in this second half, to be honest. Never really looked like getting back into the game after that third goal went in just before half-time. All the goals coming in the first half.
And 3 beauties there were, weren't there?
Yep. First it was Geordie Mongoy, then Paul Blackett, and then Aaron Martin with the third. As Ipswich 2, Cardiff 2 is a latest score in the Championship. Back it goes all the way to Jack Harding, the Banbury goalkeeper. He clears it left-footed, but that'll be easy for the vastly experienced Robert Briggs. And now the substitute Abbey plays it inside, and the shot comes in from Blackett. Controlled it with his left, hit it with his right, but it was blocked. Hewitt brings it forward, scampers over halfway, but then decides there's no way he can progress and plays it back.
No, he just fell down. He's looking for a
Madja, went down to the deck with quite a thump, and Shields have it back. Abbey on the right-hand side. Little step over onto his left foot and then played to Mongoy. Mongoy, not quite sure what he was trying to do there, just opened the face of his left foot and it just skimmed off it and went behind for a goal kick in the end.
Was he calling 3 or 4 mains there, you think, Simon?
Possibly was. Don't know if he thought there was somebody outside him that made the run in there, or whether he just completely miscued the shot, but either way it's gone behind.
It was nearly like, have I just done that? Yes, you have.
Played forward by Banbury. Hewitt intercepted by Hassani. Come inside to get a bit more of the ball. Here's Hassani. Little step over, touch of class from the centre half, plays it off the onrushing forward, out for a throw-in. Vastly experienced 37-year-old whose clubs include Hartlepool. Joined in July of 2022, Gary Little, and he's been an important part of South Shields' progress since then. Played forward down the right-hand side to James. Can he get there first? He
can.
Up against Fleming, and he does very, very well. Now Abbey has it. And here's James again. You're right, Paul, he's got a bit of pace. The South Shields substitute. Briggs, good vision from Briggs to play it out to Adams on the left-hand side. A ball swept across, and now Broadbent has it. He plays it through, just tries to be a little too cute. I think he'd seen the run forward of Adams, but he's got it back again in the centre half. Now he brings it forward, and it's chipped down the left-hand side. Mongoy will do very well to reach that. He doesn't. It goes out for a goal kick. And Mackenzie Heaney is preparing to come on. He'll be the latest substitution. As we're waiting for a throw-in, let's get some team news from the Amex. Brighton against Newcastle. Here's Matthew Raisbeck.
Thanks, Brady. One change for Newcastle, and Sven Botman misses out with injury. Matt Targett comes in to start at left back. Dan Byrne moves inside to the centre of defence. Joe Linton's overcome a knee problem to play, and new signing Lewis Hall takes a spot on the bench.
Thank you, Razor. Full commentary to come from the Amex a great game in store. Newcastle up against the team that did so well last season in Brighton and Hove Albion. You've missed nothing here. South Shields did get a corner, but it came to nothing, went behind. Middlesbrough 2, QPR 2, waiting for another substitution to be made. Middlesbrough 0, QPR 2, I do apologise. Gave the Borough a couple of goals there, which they'd probably appreciate, but they haven't got them.
Paul Blackett coming off.
It's Blackett who's coming off to a good round of applause. Man City 4, Fulham 1 now, as Mackenzie Heaney comes on to replace Blackett, former Newcastle United trainee, and someone else probably who feels he should be starting games, Dicker.
Well, that's right, but you can only pick 11, can't you? And the front three have been superb, so, you know, they're on now.
Can't really argue, can you?
No. Let's see.
South Shields have another corner from the right-hand side. It's taken short this time. And some good play from Lafudu. Into the penalty area he goes and rides 2 challenges, then slips over. I think he was perhaps fouled earlier, but stayed on his feet, then went down, and nothing given. But South Shields still have it. Robert Briggs has it again. Briggs all the way back to the keeper. Not had much to do, Miles Boney, in this second half, and he clears it long and goes to his opposite number, Jack Harding. But you're right, Julio Arco had some difficult decisions to make ahead of this match, because his players did well at Darlington. He'd made quite a lot of changes for that one, but he went back to the team that beat Gloucester so convincingly, and at the moment they're producing the same scoreline, 3-0. So he has justified, or they have justified, their manager's faith. Free kick.
And the two lads he's brought on are very pacey as well. So, you know, they've took pace off, but they put it back on as well. They're right though, Simon. It's a squad game, isn't it? Really, you know, it's not just about.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what he does at Scunthorpe, the league leaders in midweek as well after this game.
Yeah. That'll be an interesting game.
It's now Brentford 1, Bournemouth 2 in the Premier League. Here come Banbury, edge of the penalty area, but Lewis Hall can't make any further progress, so they have to come back again. Here's Madja, controls the ball, uses his body just to shield it from Hassani, but Hassani does well enough just to force his opponent backwards, so it has to go all the way back to the keeper. Madja has it again and turns sharply, still inside his own half, looks for help, can only find it by going backwards to Lawson Dath, who's the deepest of all Banbury's players now, and then he just lets it run under his foot. Mistake there from the Banbury midfielder, and now South Shields have it back, and chance down the left-hand side for Mongoy. The keeper's come right out, he's got back to his goal now, and then, well, in the end it was Abbey looking to try and get a shot away. South Shields does still have it, still putting the pressure on, and Abbey still scrambling to get it. Mongoy then slips, and Banbury try and break quickly, but how quick there was the right back John Lafudu to get back and snuff out the danger. And again he does well to win the ball and play it forward. James can't control it, but
great pace by Lafudu there, wasn't it? He just went into another gear, didn't he?
It's Hartlepool 2, Wealdstone 1. Here come Banbury down their right-hand side. Tyrrell Hamilton, one of the substitutes, just tries a couple of step-overs, brings it onto his left foot. Has he overrun it? No, it's still there. Shoots, it's deflected, and easily into the arms of Miles Boney.
I cannot really say that Banbury have threatened.
They haven't in the second half in particular, have they?
No, they haven't.
Just over 10 minutes to go in this second half. South Shields leading Banbury in the National League North by 3-0. Sunderland won 5-0 against Southampton earlier. Brighton against Newcastle. Can we make it 3 out of 3 victories on BBC Radio Newcastle this afternoon? Let's hope so.
That would be good.
A lot of people here will be making a day of it. There were people watching the Sunderland game in the bar before the match. I guess some of those same people will be watching the Newcastle game afterwards as well, when there's chips and gravy served, and
then we'll be going out for the night after that.
And an array of beverages too. That's what I call a day. Here comes South Shields down the right-hand side. It's Lafudu, that man again, showing great energy in these latter stages of the game, and he got all the way to the edge of the 6-yard box, almost on the byline, but couldn't get the cross in the end. It was blocked. And
he's a fit lad, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He's come back now in case he has to do some defending, but South Shields without him are able to tidy up. It was Blair Adams who was the furthest man back to get it back to the keeper Boney, and fighting for possession is the substitute Luke James.
Done well there, he did really well.
It keeps his team in possession. They decide to go all the way back. Little plays it back to the keeper Boney, but that's going to go to nobody. Julio Arca's a little bit frustrated with that.
He's not happy with that, Julio. The goalie's just blasted it. Blasted it to the other goalkeeper.
Plymouth Argyle, promoted last season to the Championship, lead Blackburn by a 1-0 at Home Park in the Championship, as I say. Now, here come Banbury again. 3-0 to Plymouth. It is. So 3-0 it is here as well at South Shields.
The linesman's not happy with the ref. He's had a word with them about something. He's going to have a word with their manager.
He is, yes.
Yeah, he's having a long
Mark
debate.
Jones, the manager, in long conversation there. Looks like he's caught the sun a bit, Mark Jones, there as well. I don't know if he's slapped on the factor 30, but maybe he wasn't expecting it at South Shields. He doesn't have much hair, it's fair to say, and he looks like he...
It'll be cold up north. It's not, though, is it?
And yeah, he's had a difficult afternoon. He again sits down shaking his head as South Shields get the ball back once more. Blair Adams plays it down the left-hand side. Cross comes into the penalty area as well, but it goes behind for a corner.
Is that a corner? Yes, it is.
It is a corner. Yeah. Came off a Banbury shirt last. And so that'll be a corner to South Shields, which will be taken from the left-hand side. Lirak Hassani has taken all of the set pieces this afternoon. Strolls across to take it, places it in the quadrant, raises both arms above his head and swings it in with his right foot. Good ball in as well, and one-handed the goalkeeper deals with it by pushing it clear. And Elliot Wheeler brings it clear for Banbury, brings it inside, just tries to turn his man, and then is fouled by Mackenzie Heaney, who apologises.
Yeah, it was an accident, that one, yeah.
And to be honest, I think Elliot Wheeler was going to lose it. He didn't need to dive in like that, but it is going to be a free kick to Banbury. So we approach the last 7 minutes of this match. Played forward. Little keeps his eye on it all the way and volleys it clear towards Lasani, who loses out on the halfway line. Hewitt, who's been quieter in this second half, tries to win the ball and then makes a run beyond Charles and gets it back. But, well, Lafudu gets in between himself and the opponent. Hewitt, well, he has given up.
A corner.
Yeah. He did well there originally.
Yeah, he did.
Showed great strength. His opponent just bounced off him, Hewitt, but the ball came off Lafudu and went out of play. So that will be a corner kick to Banbury, which will be taken from the left-hand side, and Darth it is who goes across to take it. Gets it back again. It's played short, and Darth will be able to cross from the corner of the penalty area. Now he goes for a shot instead. And not a bad effort either.
Yeah.
Went to try and surprise Miles Boney at his near post. Hit it pretty well, but hooked it just wide of the near post.
Very little backlift, wasn't it? You know?
Shaped as though he was going to cross, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. I thought it was going to go in the top corner, but it's just sailed wide of the goal.
It's probably as close as they've come in this second half.
I would agree with
Banbury.
that, yeah, that's right. Just seeing it out now, Shields on there.
Yeah, a satisfactory afternoon's work for Julio Arca, you'd think. I'll speak to him after the game. You'll be able to hear a little bit of reaction at half-time in the Newcastle match. Will there be any more goals? Still time. 5 minutes or so remaining, plus a bit of stoppage time. The South Shields to get a fourth, or the visitors to get one back. So throw in for Banbury, but deep inside their own half. Fleming goes to collect it and then passes it on to Lewis Hall, who will just hoist it up the left-hand touchline. Easy though for Lafudu to head it clear. Looped back into South Shields territory. Little goes down under pressure from Charles, and that's a foul.
He knew he was behind him, and he just
slowed himself down a bit, didn't he? Knew that there would be contact, and then down he went. And that again just takes a little bit of pressure off his team. Some fans drifting towards the exits, or potentially the bars, as we move into the closing stages. South Shields look pretty safe.
I think they know it's all over, don't they, really, with the scoreline.
Long ball forward into the Banbury penalty area, all the way out for a goal kick. There'll be a quick roundup of the other scores from around the country with Colin White when we finish here, and then Razor and Ando will pick up from the Amex, where Newcastle United looking to bounce back from that defeat by Liverpool by beating Brighton in the evening kickoff in the Premier League. Free kick to South Shields. It's well inside their own half. And Briggs just feigns as if to take it, but instead leaves it for the goalkeeper. I think the applause there was for the attendance being announced to Dicker, but I didn't hear what it was.
I didn't get it, no.
He's trying to find out, is Dicker, as ever, the investigative journalist. Nobody heard. Lofted forward, headed clear by Fleming. Actually done pretty well at centre half for Banbury on the whole this afternoon. He's had quite a lot to do. But here's Lafudu now, and again he shows good pace. He goes to ground, no foul given. Briggs picks it up, centre circle, all the way back to Tom Broadbent, former Blackburn and Swindon man. Played forward to Lasani, and Blair Adams has made headway up the left-hand side, brings it infield, crosses left-footed towards the far post, and it was Abbey, the substitute, who tried to latch onto it, but it goes behind. Great ball in, but Abbey just couldn't quite get on the end of it.
I thought that was a corner. I thought it was a defender who flicked it past the post, but mustn't have been. It was a great ball in from Blair Adams, you're right.
Yeah, Jade Abbey thought it was a corner as well, I think. But goal kick was given, and Banbury tried to play it out from the back using neat triangles. They're being closed down now, and the South Shields press has worked. Here's Hassani, and now the shot comes in off the inside of the post. The rebound is hooked clear as well by the keeper who was on the deck, and the danger is cleared just for the moment by Banbury, who looked to break away quickly. Now it was the substitute Abbey who got the shot in, and it hit the post, and Banbury now get into the South Shields penalty area, but nothing comes of that. And then somehow he was on the deck, having dived in vain to reach Abbey's shot, to hook away the follow-up, the goalkeeper.
It was a good effort on goal, wasn't it? But you know, he'll be disappointed. He thinks he should have scored, and he could, the rebound that come up the post, he could have maybe with a better strike could have put that in.
Banbury looked tired. They were trying to play it out from the back. Shields pressed them and won the ball back, but couldn't score. What would have been a deserved fourth goal?
Well, it would have, yes.
And again, Shields not relenting, harrying and hassling their opponents.
But I think you're right. We talked about it before the match started, about the manager, Julio, who worked exceptionally hard on the pitch. He was full of class and full of skill, but he worked really hard the whole 90 minutes, and he's wanting to put that into his team, I think, Simon.
I think he'll be a happy man afterwards.
Oh, I'd be delighted.
Can they put the icing on the cake by scoring another? Hassani again involved. He's been energetic this afternoon, as is this man, Lafudu, the right back, who's galloping forward. He's enjoying the courses to get forward in this second half. Oh, and the shot comes in from inside the penalty area, having received the ball. Luke James it was, who got his right foot to it, dragged it across the goalkeeper into the far left-hand corner. They have put the icing on the cake. South Shields lead Banbury by 4-0.
Ah, that was a wonderful finish as well. He had to spin and keep his toe down and just place it wide of the keeper, just going in the inside of the post there. Beautiful finish, real good finish.
It's Coventry 3, Watford 3, and here it's South Shields 4, now Banbury 0. Great work as well from Lafudu down the right-hand side. What energy he has.
How many miles has he run this afternoon? Incredible.
He's enjoying the second half more, I think, because he has a bit more licence to get forward.
Yeah, he has.
And he's caused a few problems too.
I mean, that's just about on time, isn't it? The fans go home delighted to see another goal, 4-0.
I think I saw 6 minutes on the board as well.
Oh, right.
So we're going to have a bit more action. Time maybe.
For another one.
For another one, yeah. We shall see. We're into that 6 minutes now.
I mean, we're talking about Luke James coming on, that he had scored goals. Yeah. And you know what? He's got another one.
He has, yeah. So the 3 forwards who started the match have scored.
Yeah.
But Luke James has come on and said, hang on a minute, you know, I'm available for Tuesday night at Scunthorpe. Here come Shields again, and a great first-time ball by James to another of the substitutes, Heaney, who shows great feet, exchanges passes with Abbey. Here's Heaney into the box. Back inside it goes to James again, looking for his second. It's blocked. Great effort, though, and a great interchange as well from the South Shields forwards. They're tearing Banbury apart in these closing stages of the game.
Unbelievable pace. I mean, the two subs that went off had great games, and the 2 subs that have come on are causing mayhem in the Banbury defence.
Yeah, they're giving Julio Walker a few selection headaches, it's fair to say.
He'll be pleased that he's got them on and that playing that part in the win.
Banbury look a forlorn outfit now. They've got a long journey home, 200 plus miles back to Oxfordshire, and anything they score now would of course just be a consolation.
They'll remember that trip over to South Shields.
They will. And Briggs has it in plenty of space in the middle. Here's Abbey. He'd fancy getting himself a goal as well. Heaney plays it all the way out to the left-hand side. Blair Adams can't quite get there, no.
That looked a 90-minute run, didn't it?
The skipper just realised he couldn't make it and just took a couple of moments with his hands on the advertising hoardings to take a little bit of a breather to Blair Adams. Banbury have it inside their own half. Here's Ty Fleming. Madja plays it wide to Lewis Hall down the left-hand side. He's got Fleming ahead of him, but he comes back to Madja instead. Brentford 2, Bournemouth 2 in the Premier League. Hooks clear by Liddell, but here come Banbury again. Cross comes in from Hall, cleared again by South Shields. They'd very much like a clean sheet. They'd also like to match Sunderland's tally of 5 goals. If they can get one more, they will do that. But they have a little bit of defending to do now. They managed to do that pretty well by crowding out Tyrrell Hamilton. And that's a great ball down to the left-hand side. Now South Shields have a chance on the break. Heaney is available for Mongoy if he can find him. Mongoy gets it back again down the left-hand side. Just happy to keep possession at the moment, shield the ball, and then does keep possession by playing it inside to Hassani. And now they can maybe come down the right-hand side because that man Lafudu has made good ground again, and he receives it. Doesn't go outside this time, just checks, and Heaney it is who shields the ball. Nothing daft from him. Back to Broadbent, who exchanges passes with Hassani. South Shields keeping possession well, and then Heaney plays it forward. Abbey makes the run, the goalkeeper comes out and smothers.
Finishing with a real flurry on the Shields. Really playing good foot. They've upped the tempo the last 15 minutes there. It's good stuff and good to watch.
Mackenzie Heaney was someone who was very highly rated at Newcastle.
He was.
We had a regular caller, Eddie, used to call Total Sport. He used to go and watch the academy teams. And he used to talk about Mackenzie Heaney, how he's one for the future.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's still got time, I guess, to to show what he can do. Good play from Little at the back, just intercepting, keeping possession. It's the 4th minute of 6 added on. Here's Mongoy, scorer of the first goal. Hassani plays it forward, but James was never going to catch that. And Banbury now have it through Lawson Dath, and then he plays it to Aidan Elliott-Wheeler. To Hall. Hall has it back again, but he's only got one way to go, and that is backwards. And then Banbury give it away. They're tired. They're very tired.
They definitely are tired. They've done a lot of chasing this afternoon, but they've played a lot of football, a lot of possession football.
They started well, didn't they?
Yeah, but with no end product. You know, I mean, you've seen today South Shields, the finishing, the 4 goals been brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Throw in to Banbury. To the last minute of stoppage time now. Banbury throw it down the line. Ken Charles, their centre forward, he's worked hard, he's had a couple of half chances. James thinks he was fouled then, but nothing given. So Banbury bring it clear.
There it is.
But that's the end of the action, and it has been a thoroughly satisfying afternoon for South Shields in the National League North, because they have been pretty dominant throughout, Paul Dixon. They have won by 4-0. It all started off with Mongoy with that header as early as the 11th minute, and then Paul Blackett with a rocket really after 13 minutes. Made the game pretty comfortable from an early stage. Shields are the better team from that moment on, really, because Banbury had shown a little bit in those very early stages. Aaron Martin with another very sharp finish before half-time made it 3-0. And then one of the substitutes, Luke James, in the second half, rounding things off with another good finish across the keeper to make it 4-0. But Julio Arca had a smile on his face as he left the dugout to go and shake hands with his players as they came off the pitch, and so he might.
Well, I would agree with that, Simon. Yeah, that's as good a Shields performance I've seen for a long time. And the finishing, well, you know, when you've got strikers and you say, can you get us goals? And the answer with yes, 4 wonderful goals this afternoon. The crowd will be thrilled with that performance, because sometimes they did struggle to score goals, but Julio's got them going forward, 3 up front, and they're causing mayhem with defences with their pace and their ability. It looks all good for South Shields at the minute.
There's a really good vibe about the place, isn't there? I mean, I felt it before the kick-off, and people have very much enjoyed this game. They are very much enjoying getting behind their team. They probably feel that South Shields can play at a much higher level. Clearly, it might take some time, but the way things have started, and it's very early days, we've only had 7 games, but the way things have started, they are looking like they might be able to sustain the promotion challenge.
Well, I'd agree with that. I mean, the ambition's here. They've just got to get people on the pitch who can win your games and score your goals. It looks as though at the minute Julio's got that.
Yeah, he certainly does seem to have great competition within his squad. He's got them playing, I don't know if you would observe differently to how they were playing last season. Was there anything that stood out for you that is a contrast to the way they were playing last season under Kevin Phillips, Paul?
Well, more attacking, and he's got the pace within the team, and as you've seen, he's got the pace on the bench as well.
Yeah.
You know, when they're tired, you know, I mean, Blackett's run his heart out today, and you know, and then you bring Mackenzie Heaney on and Luke James, and they make it even tougher for the opposition. No, I think there's a bit more excitement within South Shields going forward than there has been for the last couple of years. Long may it continue.
They're on a good little run then, our South Shields, and they have a 100% home record. Things will get a little bit more difficult, a little bit more complex for them on Tuesday evening when they travel to Scunthorpe, the early leaders of the National League North. But it has been another very satisfactory afternoon for Julio Arca and his South Shields team at the First Cloud Arena this afternoon. They have beaten Banbury United here by 4-0.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Congratulations then to South Shields, who had a 4-0 victory to Sunderland's 5-0 victory earlier on this afternoon. Thank you very much to Simon Pride and to Paul Dixon. We will get some reaction to that South Shields victory later on at half-time and then again at full-time in the Newcastle United match. In the Premier League then today, in the early kick-off, it finished Sheffield United 2, Everton 2, and 2-2 was also the full-time score. In the first of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, Brentford against Bournemouth. Brentford had the lead after 7 minutes through Matthias Jensen. Dominic Solanke and David Brooks, one in the first, one in the second halves, gave Bournemouth the lead, but they could only hold on to it until the 90th minute. Brian Mbeumo equalising. So Brentford 2, Bournemouth 2. Spurs have scored 5 away at Burnley. Song Heung-min scoring 3 of those. Christian Romero and James Maddison with the other one. Burnley were actually ahead after 4 minutes through Lyle Foster. Nottingham Forest have won 1-0 away at Chelsea. Anthony Elanga 3 minutes into the second half. Manchester City have beaten Fulham by 5-1, an Erling Haaland hat-trick towards the end of the game. Well, towards the end of the game, all in the second half. Julian Alvarez giving Man City the lead after half an hour. Fulham equalised just 2 minutes later, but then Nathan Ake made it 2-1 just before half-time, and Haaland scored 3 in the second half to make it 5-1 at full-time. Newcastle United are away at Brighton at 5:30. We'll come back to that one very shortly.